continue here. According to a study by the Inclusive Society Institute, over 10% of working-age South Africans are considering leaving the country for economic opportunities. The study shows that more than 10% of South Africans with higher education qualifications say that they are also considering immigration to another country in the next year or two. Let's talk more about these numbers then with the CEO of the Inclusive Society Institute, Daryl Swanepoel. Mr. Swanepoel, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. Is it purely pursuit of economic opportunities that's making people consider leaving the country?
Good afternoon. It is mainly economic opportunities and wanting to improve their lives that people want to leave the country. Yes, in fact, it's by far the highest indicator. What is encouraging about it is that political considerations seem not to weigh too high in that decision. In fact, only 1.76% of South Africans indicated that is a motivating factor for them to leave. It is about jobs. 25.26% of South Africans want to leave for better opportunities, or put it this way, indicate that they are considering to leave. You know, considering to leave and actually turning into a flight ticket overseas are not necessarily one and the same. But if only a quarter of that materializes and you lose just a quarter of that, it's terrible. And if you think about the fact that there are something like 12% of these highly skilled and high earners that want to leave the country, if we were to lose only 3% of that, it would be catastrophic, given the huge skills shortages that we have in the country.
And are there specific industries or skill sets where we're seeing a higher desire or thought, shall we say, as far as leaving the country to work elsewhere?
Well, that was not specifically tested in this study. But what I can tell you is that we are busy with an economic study rejuvenating the South African economy. And we have engaged with sectors from across the economic spectrum. And it is across all of these sectors that a high priority is placed on building the necessary skill set. But you're looking at engineers, financial accountants, medical staff, scientists. Those are the high skills that are wanting to, that there's a shortage of. But I must just say it's not limited only to the skills workers. 10% of unskilled workers indicated they want to leave the country for better job opportunity. And that is not unrealistic given the fact that if you look in Europe and those places where you have diminishing populations, job opportunities are opening up for the low-skilled workers as well. I've just returned from Denmark and Sweden, and you will be amazed how many Africans are working in their hotels and the hospitality industry there, as an example. And
there have also been massive developments around the freight industries, truckers, shortage of truckers in the United States. I know as well earlier this year there was reporting around that. The UK as well last year had an issue where goods were not being moved because they simply did not have enough truck drivers. And that speaks to the point that you were making, that even for the unskilled, someone who just has a driver's license, there is work abroad at the moment.
That is correct. But of course, the big worry is the skills, because we already have a skill shortage in the country. And if we see that flight starting to take place, then that a bad economy could be made even worse.
Do you know at all how many of these people who are considering leaving the country to work abroad would consider coming back? Do many of them want to get a one-way ticket, or is there still hope to come back one day should economic prospects improve?
You know, it differs. If you look at the young people, the idea is that they move overseas, they get experience, and the dream is to come back to South Africa. If you're looking at middle-aged to older people leaving the country, even though the intention is there to maybe come back, it doesn't materialize in the real world. I spoke to an Australian immigration company who had helped 12,000 South Africans immigrate to Australia. And he says that they did a survey, and up to 60% of the South Africans would like to come back to South Africa, but a fraction of them will, because immigrating is a traumatic experience, it's an expensive experience, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's not something you do once or twice. So I think the notion of, okay, let them go abroad, they'll come back, is a dangerous strategy. We should try everything in our power to keep them in the country from the outset.
You also provided a race breakdown of the levels among black, white and Indian of people who are exploring possibly the opportunity to leave the country to work, as I was saying, overseas. And about 11% of white people you surveyed said that they are thinking about it, and 9.73% of black respondents indicated the same. Is that in line with previous patterns? Because often, and I don't know if this is mainly anecdotal, the conversation is about mainly white South Africans who've in the past wanted to go elsewhere.
Now, what this survey has revealed is that it's across the board. It is slightly higher amongst the white community, but we're talking percentage points or two. In the main, it's around 10% across black, white, Indian, colored. The exact figures, to be precise, is 12% white, 10% for the black and Indian, and 9% for the colored community that are considering immigrating. But we spoke about the 25% or the 24% of South Africans that want to leave. But if you look at the higher income earners, that's around 33% of the high income earners have indicated that it's crossing their mind to immigrate in the next year or two, which is extremely worrying figures.
Daryl Swanepoel, good to have your time. CEO of the Inclusive Society Institute. Thank you very much.